Welcome to the Love Clarity Podcast, where you come to heal your relationship trauma and learn to love deeply without losing yourself. Hello, love, and welcome back to the Love Clarity Podcast, where we untangle the confusing, painful, and sometimes exhausting parts of love so you can rebuild trust, create safety, and love deeply without losing yourself. I'm Sanya Bari, relationship trauma therapist, coach, and a survivor of relationship trauma myself. And in today's episode, we're talking about one of the smallest but most powerful shifts I've ever made: telling the truth. But not the kind of truth that erupts during a fight, not the kind that comes after you've been pushed so far. I'm talking about microtruths, the quiet truths you tell yourself in moments when no one else is watching. Let's get into it. I kept asking myself, why does betrayal keep finding me? No matter how hard I worked, how much I tried, therapy, journaling, self-help books, communication techniques, this same pattern kept cycling through my life, kept coming back relentlessly. It wasn't always the same person either, but the feeling, the ache in my chest, the disorientation, the disillusionment, the loss of this sense of safety, the hit in a sacred and vulnerable place, that was identical. And deep down, I knew that it wasn't just about them. This wasn't random. This was a curriculum, a spiritual, emotional, psychological curriculum that I had to complete before it completed me, it exhausted me. A curriculum from Earth School, and I was determined to graduate. I became more and more determined when I just started getting sick of it. It was either going to be me or it. I became almost like brazen, like rebellious, bullish about I'm going to get on the other side of this. And you know, just what they say, that when the student arrives, the master appears. And there were 100 masters that come. One of these masters that came at the right time and tapped at on my shoulder was the book that I came across by Kathleen and Gay Hendricks. It was called Conscious Loving. It's a beautiful book. And I just fell in love with their concept of microtruths. I was reading it just like anybody reads any book, and I was just in this something lit up inside me. You know how you're just reading an ordinary book with ordinary pages, and then you realize that you almost feel as if there's some type of a thing that's opened up in the sky and it's just looking straight down at you. It's almost like that message was created for me and I got it. I took it and I absorbed it. I remember reading it so many times. I was almost like taking it into my pores, and I really, really, really took it. What are microtruths? Tiny truths you tell yourself. Not confessions, not full explanations, just honest, clear awarenesses. And sometimes something inside me with that concept of microtruths, by becoming immaculate with myself and practicing those microtruths, something clicked within me. Because when you're stuck in a pattern of pain or in a pattern of betrayal like I was, you can't afford to keep telling yourself tiny lies. Because what happens when you get hurt in love is that you lose your sense of safety. You don't know if you're the kind of person who knows how to keep yourself safe. And one of the most important places to come back to yourself through and to develop in yourself is self-trust, is that safety. Everything that you do comes through that self-trust, through the safety that you create by proving to yourself that you'll show up for yourself, that you can trust yourself to be there for yourself, even when the people that love you are demanding something else of you, that you will show up for you. And that's what I had been doing over and over again, quietly, subtly, unknowingly, lying to myself without realizing it, lying to myself so much that I couldn't even pick up on it. I said things like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll just let it go. It's not even happening. I would have honesties inside me that I would betray myself with. And my body was keeping score. And I was betraying myself again and again. So I started trying something different. One honest micro truth at a time. I'm not okay with this. I don't trust this situation. No, that conversation left a pit in my stomach. That did not sit well with me. No, I don't want to go. And that's okay. It's okay for me to have my truth. I'm not pushing it on anyone. But I have the right to speak my truth to myself. Every single time I did it, every single micro moment of a micro truth, my breath deepened. My nervous system relaxed and softened. And something inside me started to heal. I started to create the self-trust that became the foundation of everything that came afterwards. The microtruths I spoke allowed me to see what it feels like to be honest with myself. And the more microtruths I spoke, the more I trusted myself. And the more I trusted myself, the more I stopped needing the validation or the safety from anyone or anything else. I then became a person who wanted people and wanted things and wanted situations, but I did not need them. I didn't have to analyze or overthink or over-explain or defend or argue or rehearse everything anymore or overthink. I had clarity, I had peace, I had boundaries without having to announce them. My boundaries now, when I started to practice microtruths, came within myself first. One of the biggest problems with boundaries, when people get hurt, they start to create boundaries outside themselves. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying that's not the real deal. The real deal is inside you. And when I started to allow myself to hear my truth, I started to understand it's not true that I don't know how to see red flags. It's not true that I don't know how to keep myself safe. It's not true that I didn't know that this was happening to me. It's not true that I was blindsided. The truth is that I always knew, that I could always see, but I just was trained and I had programmed myself. I had accepted the programming that other people gave to me of denying my own reality and no more self-betrayal and no more self-honesty. Self-dishonesty. Only thing I will accept for myself is micro-truths. And even if it's uncomfortable, it'll be something that I'll embrace because I had been so uncomfortable for so long doing so many things that I was welcoming this honesty. I just wanted to see who am I apart from the lies I tell myself. What is my life really like? What will keep on standing when I start to see what parts of what I believe in are lies versus truths. And here's the part that I didn't expect, that other people were going to start trusting me more too. It was just a byproduct. I didn't even care. I so badly needed trust myself that was just a byproduct that came. But that gave me even more understanding that the part of me that I'm trusting is so rooted and grounded in my experience, and my understanding of who I am apart from my fears, that it is so stable, it's so solid, it's so rooted and so deep that other people who would before throw me off or doubt me are now aligning without me ever trying. This is what it means. I didn't know what these things meant. I heard them. I didn't know what they meant. But this is what I understood that it means to be somebody who brings about change in other people by their way of being. I was bringing about changing in myself by my way of being, by recognizing which part of me is the human being versus the human doing. And I continuously made tiny, tiny movements. This was not dramatic. This was not glamorous. It was tiny, consistent movements where many times I would even make a mistake sometimes. But the thing about creating a relationship with yourself and a relationship with anyone else is not that the relationship should never have any mistakes, because that's almost like saying that you're not human. If you're going to do anything, you're going to have mistakes. What makes a relationship solid and flourish and beautiful and real is not that you don't make mistakes. It's that you do loving repairs. And I would take the time to apologize to myself and to do loving repairs and do my best not to do that again. And if I did it again, that I would apologize again and I would start again. And I found that it was easier for me to apologize to myself and come into self-forgiveness than the kind of forgivenesses that I would take from other people. And since I had people in my life who sometimes had narcissistic tendencies and would many times punish me, I started to understand how simple it is for me to start creating relationships with other people through me. This was such a great privilege to experientially get to know things that I only knew conceptually about, which is why I invite you to start anywhere and to start here now with Microtruths, and to not just take my word for it, but to get to experience this yourself, to try these things, even if you were to say, hey, as my professors, Dr. Ron and Mary Helnick would say, hey, just be a spiritual scientist and just say to yourself, hey, I'm just going to try this. And if it doesn't work, I'll just toss it around. I'll toss it aside. And, if it does, I'll keep it. Just with that thought, just do try, because even God meets you at the point of action. And I can bet you that when you start bringing these microtruths into your life, that you're going to start to see the changes, because truth always wins in the end. When you speak from an honest place inside yourself, you become someone who feels safe inside yourself. You create safety, stability, and clarity inside yourself that was always present. The only thing that's happening now is that you're becoming aware of it. You're becoming aware of the power of the wisdom that was always within you, that you always had access to. Wisdom that is greater than information and knowledge that changes as the scene changes. Wisdom that doesn't rely on anything exterior because it already has a deep inner knowing. I also stopped tolerating betrayal from others. When I stopped betraying myself, it was not something that I had to bring on or fake or think about or push on somebody. It was almost as if the betrayals that I would have from other people started to fall off like unnourished leaves, just simply gently falling off. I was no longer betraying myself. There was no room inside me. There was nothing inside me that hooked onto other people's invitations of betrayal. It was like a sacred exchange. For every microtruth I told, I got a piece of my peace back. I got a view into the part of me, my soul, that was always there, that is always there for all of us, not just for some of us, where my wisdom, where your wisdom is sitting there, ready to answer any question that you have. And it's not a regular answer that it gives you. It is an answer that is surrounded and enveloped and cushioned with support and loving. So I want to leave you with a reflection. Where I'm not being honest with myself is something I want to find out. I want to always pause, ask myself that question. Where is it that I'm not being honest with me? What small micro-truth am I avoiding? What micro-honesty do I need to hear from myself? You don't have to fix it. You're not broken. You just have to heal it. And as you name it, its power gets decreased. And as you turn towards it with loving and compassion, it heals, dissolves, and integrates into yourself. It's no longer something outside that you hate. It is integrated. It is no longer part of you that you have exiled, that you're in civil war with. You're integrated, and that is how you experience wholeness. That's all a microtruth is. A moment of clarity that comes within you that leads you back to yourself, to your wholeness. One truth at a time, one micro moment at a time. Why the use of microtruths? Because you do not want to lie to yourself, even just a little bit. If you feel like you're honest, go deeper. Go deeper. Be so honest that you can feel yourself at the end of that honesty. Now, if this episode stirred something in you, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're just ready to speak the truth to yourself. Even when it's quiet, even when no one's watching, and especially when it's yours. You can explore more healing tools with me inside the Love Clarity Inner Circle, where I invite you into the membership with us, where we have gorgeous connecting sessions together live. However, if that's not for you, then I'm still gonna love seeing you again here at the Love Clarity podcast next Wednesday. So much love to you. Until next time, I'm Sanya Bari, and I can't wait to see you again soon.